We start today with an urgent announcement that Leighton Baker has officially been announced missing. He's gone, he's missing, and it's all because of Radio New Zealand. Suddenly, one day, Leighton Baker, yesterday, News Hub poll was polling at 3.9%. The very next day, boom, gone, eliminated. He is no more. All right, let me tell you guys the story of how Leighton suddenly disappeared from the mainstream media here in New Zealand. So yesterday a poll came out from News Hub, which is one of our big national TV stations, showing my father, Leighton Baker, polling at 3.9% as the preferred Prime Minister of New Zealand. So before him, we had Christopher Luxon, Chris Hipkins, Jacinda again, David Seymour. Now, David Seymour was sitting on 8%. Then you had my father sitting on 3.9, Leighton Baker. Then you had Winston Peters, who used to be the Deputy Prime Minister of New Zealand, sitting on 2.9. So that poll came out and our whole family was shocked. We're like, wow, what an amazing result considering he hasn't announced a party. He hasn't actually announced that he's officially running yet, but he's polling incredible results. If he goes up 1.1% to 5%, that's 5 MPs in Parliament potentially at the next election. So it's fantastic news. However, a mere 24 hours later, Leighton was gone. Missing. Never to be seen again. No, I'm kidding. Probably to be seen again. How did he go missing? Well, Radio New Zealand, who is also they're government funded largely here in New Zealand, they're wanting to become part of a big merger where they can get 109 million taxpayer dollars per year. They put out the very same poll from News Hub. But guess what? Leighton Baker was missing. He was gone. He'd been eradicated, pulled, poof, disappeared from the polls. So it went David Seymour, skip, jump over Leighton, straight to Winston Peters. And they eradicated Leighton, a mention of Leighton anywhere in their entire article. Now you may say, oh, it's a misstep, it was accidental. But what they had done, they'd accidentally put Dad's 3.9% beside David Seymour. So they knew there was someone polling at 3.9 and it looks like they just had to eradicate the little line that said Leighton Baker. If you ask yourself why, think about this. Everyone that was on that list are already in government or have been in government before. People know how to manipulate them. They know how they work. They know how they operate with the media. They know who they've got connections with. They are solid government employees. My father is not one of those people. He's not a brought and paid for media guy. He's not a brought and paid for government agency person. He's a really great human being that has stood up for tens of thousands of New Zealanders over the last few years and said what this government has done to people is wrong. And turns out people love him for it. Now he's polling really well. Radio New Zealand don't want you to know that because if they tell you that his result is that high, if they show you that he's polling higher than a former Deputy Prime Minister of New Zealand, people will suddenly go, he's really close to that 5%. Our minor party votes should go to him and that would actually mean something. He's got a really good chance of getting in. Now, of course, they can't have that because they need people that they know how to, use or manipulate or even just people that they understand the backgrounds of. So what do? They pull him out. He's disappeared. He's gone. He's missing. And all of a sudden, we're back to the people that we know and that we trust. So fascinating development. I mean, I'm sure he's physically still here. I was chatting to him on the phone earlier. But according to Radio New Zealand, Leighton Baker, gone, disappeared. If you want to hold them accountable, feel free to send a submission to Radio New Zealand about their paper, about their piece of writing that I will put in the link below, and you can tell them what you think about them eradicating someone that's number, I probably need to do this, maybe 5 or 6 as the most preferred Prime Minister of New Zealand. Pretty massive results. What are you going to do about it? Should we hold them accountable?